What is up, 7th grade? This is lesson 87. We're going to be talking about multiplying algebraic terms. Before we jump into multiplying algebraic terms, I just want you to remember real quick, back from lesson 84, we talked about adding algebraic terms, and we could only add them if they were like terms, right? It's the variables matched exactly. And then the variable part would stay the same. So like if we had 3x and 5x's, because the variable part matched exactly, we could add 3x plus 5x. And so 3 plus 5 is 8. So I have 3 of them, 5 of them, so total now I have 8 x's. Okay, so that's what we did back in 84. And if they had different variables, we couldn't add them together. In today's lesson, we're talking about multiplying them. And when we're multiplying them, the variables don't have to match. And whenever we multiply them, the variable part is multiplied as well. So if we have something like this, 3x times 5x, that just means 3 times x times 5 times x, right? Because when they're next to each other, it just means multiplying them. And so I can rearrange, because 2 times 3 is the same thing as 3 times 2. I can rearrange these, and so I just put the numbers together, 3 times 5, and then there's the x, and there's the x. Okay? And then 3 times 5 I know is 15, and then x times x, we write just like this, and we say x squared. Now, before we go on to that a little more, let's just remember what exponents mean. Sometime further back in elementary school, we learned a new trick. Whenever you're adding the same thing over and over again, like this, 2 plus 2 plus 2, we know 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. But we were taught a trick that we said, hey, there's 1, 2, 3 of those. And since they're all the same, I can say 2 times 3 is equal to 6. Now we know that we don't just add those two together or anything, right? We know 2 times 3 gives us 6. But what this means is that I have 3 of the 2's, and that gives me 6. Now I can apply that same idea with exponents. Whenever I'm multiplying 2 times 2 times 2, I know 2 times 2 is 4, and then times 2 again gives me 8. So notice in here, there is 1, 2, 3 of those. So I can say 2 to the third power, or 2 cubed, gives me 8. So what this exponent means is the base multiplied by itself this many times. Just like over here, this means this added to itself this many times. So 2 to the third power means take the base, the 2, and multiply by itself 3 times. 1, 2, 3 of them. And that will give you 8. So the same thing over here. Notice this is x squared. That means the base is multiplied by itself 1, 2 times. So let's go ahead and try a few examples here. This is negative 3x squared times y times 2x times negative 4xy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just pull all of the constant part, just the numbers that we're used to, and we're going to pull those together. And so I'm going to say negative 3 times 2 times the negative 4. Then I'm going to put all the x's together. So I have x squared and an x and an x. So it's going to be an x squared times x times x. And then we're going to put all the y's together. Here's a y and here's a y. Times y times y. Okay, so let's go ahead and come over here. Let's go and multiply these two together. Negative 3 times negative 4 gives me a positive 12 because they have the same sign. And then 12 times 2, or doubling 12, is going to give me 24. So these three numbers multiplied together gives me the 24. Now let's come to the red part here. X squared means that there's 2 x's, right? There's 2 x's here, and there's 3, and then there's 4 of them. So that part is going to be x to the 4th, because that means there's 4 x's multiplying together. And then on the y's, notice we have 1, 2 y's, so that means y squared. So 24x to the 4th, y squared is going to be our answer. Let's try another one here. Again, we're going to do the same idea, all of the number parts. This is just a negative 2. This one has a 1, which we don't necessarily have to write because anything times 1 is still itself. And then this one has a 3. Then I'm going to do all of the a parts together. a squared, and there's no more a's over there, so this is a times a squared. And then the b's, there's a b and a b and a b cubed. B times b times b cubed. So let's keep going here. Negative 2 times 3, those have different signs, so it's going to be a negative. And 2 times 3 is 6. For the a part, for the red, this is 1 a's, and there's 2 a's here, so altogether I would have 3 a's. So this is going to be a to the third power, or we could say a cubed. Over here, there's 3 b's right here. This is a fourth one and a fifth one. So this is going to be b to the fifth. So our final answer is going to be negative 6 a cubed b to the fifth. Now, after you start practicing this a lot, you'll get where you don't even necessarily have to write all of this out. You can say, oh, here's an a, here's 2 more a's, so it's going to give me a cubed. B, and 3 more, so it's going to be 3, 4, 5 b's, b to the fifth. Negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. So the more you practice, maybe the easier it will be, because you can maybe even skip this middle step, and you'll be able to jump straight from here down to here. Let's try one more of these. And this one's a little bit tricky because it has this exponent up here of squared. So everything in this parentheses is being squared. So remember what that means. It means everything in here, the base, is multiplying by itself this many times. So I'm going to go ahead and write that out there. It's going to be negative 3 a squared b squared. That's one time. And another time, negative 3 a squared b squared. That's 2 times. So notice I have 1, 2 of them because my exponent is 2. If the exponent had been a 3, then I would have put another one out here this way. But since there's just a 2, I'm going to have 1, 2 of them. So let's go ahead and start writing the similar pieces together. So here I have the negative 3 and the negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 gives me positive 9 because they're both the same sign, so it comes out to be positive, and 3 times 3 is 9. Then I have a squared and a squared, so there's 2 a's over here and 2 a's over here, so altogether I have 4 a's, a to the fourth. And then I have a b squared and a b squared, so there's 2 over to the left and 2 over here to the right, so it's going to be b to the fourth. So this is going to be my answer. Your homework starts on page 600. There are 9 practice sets and then 6 more of your choice. Good luck, guys. You're going to do awesome.